Hey guys, how you doing? Dr. Nathan Thompson here, and welcome to Monday. So today I'm going to talk about the best protein supplements, specifically the best for healing and repair, because I get this question a lot. And here's something that's interesting is my opinion has actually changed quite a bit over the last year or so, and I'm going to tell you why. So this is who this is specifically for. So this is specifically for anyone who takes any kind of protein supplement, either before you work out, after you work out, or you're taking it as some kind of like weight loss supplement. And I'm going to show you what's going to be best for you depending on some specific criteria. So if you are listening, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and ask me a question. Share this with someone who, especially as we go through this, they might be consuming the wrong protein depending on their situation. I know one thing is for certain, I have actually changed how I supplement specifically with protein and with my workouts. And it is something that has made a lot of difference. And I'm actually going to show you why. So protein supplements, what are going to be the best ones for healing? And what are going to be some of the best ones for repair? So let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right. So listen, there's a lot of different protein powders out there, and all of them claim to be the best. There's also benefits of each one of them, but I'm going to show you why some could absolutely be destroying you because of one big word, and that big word is called inflammation. So if you suffer from any kind of inflammation, and we're going to show you what are some of the symptoms of some of this inflammation that's taking place, make sure that you like that and make sure that you share that because this is going to start to make a lot of sense for a lot of people. All right. So what are some of the types of whey protein powders that are out there? Well, some of the whey protein powders that are out there are going to be milk-based. Okay. So this may be a very specific casein type powder. And then also something that's powerful, very, very popular with a lot of people, especially in the CrossFit community or in the muscle building type community, bodybuilding community, is going to be whey protein. Okay. Now, these are all going to be derived from milk. Milk is divided into two main proteins. They got your casein and then you got your whey. Casein is going to be about 2/3 of the protein coming from milk. Whey is going to be actually the other third. Now, there are some benefits of casein. There's some benefits of whey, but I'm going to show you probably why this is something that you shouldn't even consider at all as far as any protein supplementation is concerned. Next one is going to be derived from eggs, egg white. Okay, so these are going to be a little bit different type of protein, and eggs are actually great. I'm going to show you why, though eggs might not be so great. Then you actually have proteins that are derived from plant sources or from vegan sources. So this can be pea, this can be hemp, brown rice, soy, or it can be a mixture of all of them. In fact, I think that my opinion is that plant protein would actually be the second best source of protein when it comes from a protein powder, except for one or anything that's going to be derived from soy. One of the reasons why is when you look at soy, most of it is going to be genetically modified, number one, and number two, soy typically will increase thyroid function in the body. Okay, so you don't want to do anything that's unnecessarily driving up thyroid function, which is why I'm not a fan per se of actual soy. And then the fourth one is going to be from bone broth. And this is actually getting a lot of traction. I'm going to tell you why in just a little bit. So it's actually coming from the tendons, the ligaments, and the bones of either chicken or from beef. So those are going to be the four, main ones that are going to be out there. Another one that you have is like a cricket protein, but I mean, if eating crickets is something that you enjoy, I would actually say it's not that bad for you, but you are in fact eating crickets. So just remember that. Now, here's one of the reasons why when you talk about, well, people ask me, Dr. Nate, which one is going to be the best? So which one is going to be the best? And I always will tell people it's going to depend. And this is also true for nutrition. And they say, well, how should I be eating? What kind of macro breakdown should I be consuming? Or what kind of food should I be eating? And I'm going to also say that this is going to depend. And here is why I believe that it depends quite a bit. This is actually a blood test that's going to measure for food allergies. Okay. Now, here's the thing with food allergies is that many times for a lot of people, if you have any kind of digestive issues, for example, you're not producing enough hydrochloric acid in the stomach, you're not going to be breaking down your proteins very well. And then once you have a vehicle to start separating some of the junctions in the small intestine, which they call leaky gut, these large proteins that aren't broken down very well tend to start leaking into the blood. And that's when you start to have immune system reactions. And you guessed it, when you start to have an immune system reaction, you're going to have inflammation that happens as well. Now, you want to be lowering chronic inflammation as much as possible. And one way that you can contribute to it is the foods you eat, including the protein powders that you're consuming. So, for example, this is a food allergy test from someone who is an athlete and also someone who consumes a lot of protein powders as part of pre-workout, as part of recovery, as far as just getting extra protein in their nutrition. Now, if you actually look at this, you can actually see that this particular athlete reacts to almonds, reacts really strongly to casein, reacts to cashews, reacts to coconuts, egg whites, kiwi, but also cow's milk, peanuts, sesame, and tuna. So number one, the first thing you want to do is start avoiding inflammation is to stop eating those foods that you're having an immune system reaction to. But here's what's interesting is this person was consuming actually a lot of whey protein and a lot of cheese and dairy to get an additional source of protein. If you look at the actual food allergies, you look at casein, for example, which is going to be basically any dairy and cheese, but that also react pretty strongly to cow's milk. So what this means is this means that having any kind of casein protein or even having whey protein is their body is going to react to this with inflammation. Now, listen, one of the telltale signs that their body's digestive system is becoming inflamed is that a lot of times this can produce a lot of chronic joint pain, not immediately, but a day or 2 or 3 days after. This can also produce some bloating. This can also produce a lot of stomach gas, can produce a lot of loose stool. And so you have to decide, is this specific protein, is it good for me, or is it actually creating more inflammation? So just remember, when people ask me, what am I supposed to be eating? Is such and such good for me? I would say generally yes, unless you have some kind of food allergy to it. So in this case, having any kind of casein powder or any kind of whey protein powder is just going to continue to drive inflammation. So if you can imagine, you might do a very intense workout that is in fact going to produce some inflammation. And then what you're doing to help recover from it is even producing more inflammation. And so that's particularly the case when it comes to, in this person, to have any kind of egg protein, whey protein, or any kind of casein is just going to make things continue to get worse. So the best is always going to depend on specific food allergies that you have. Now, let me talk to you about bone broth and why typically clear across the board, bone broth is always going to be best. Now, are there certain proteins that will help to build muscle better, in my opinion? Yes, I think whey protein probably will do a better job of doing that, but it's not going to be doing anything at all, but it can be detrimental if your body is reacting to it with inflammation. So clear across the board, one of the things that you can in fact have what's known as bone broth or bone broth protein. And in fact, this is something that I can universally recommend because you're not going to have allergies specifically to it because the bone broth actually has more tendons and ligaments and bone constituents than it does from animal muscle or from an animal byproduct like dairy. Now, going back to food allergy testing, I've tested almost now 50 or 60 people. And guess how many people reacted to casein and cow's milk? So out of those people, guess how many people actually reacted to casein and cow's milk? So if you know if you have an idea, give me a percentage in the comments. So give me a percentage, what percentage of those people actually react to casein and react to cow's milk? What do you think that percentage is? So far, that percentage is 100%. So let me say that again, 100%. So we have had 100% of people when we test actually react to casein, which again is going to be a lot of cheese, and then cow's milk, which is going to be the other constituent or the other part of the milk, which is going to be whey. So every single person, 100%. So universally, I now really don't recommend any kind of casein protein or whey protein. And a large percent of people actually will react to either egg yolk or egg white as well. Now, I have a theory as far as why that is. I won't share that today. But if you have a theory as far as why you think a lot of people react to casein, cow's milk, and eggs, let me know what your opinion is on that in the comments below. So let's go into one that we can pretty much universally recommend, and that's going to be bone broth. Now, here is some of the ingredients or what bone broth actually contains and why it's actually going to be good for you universally from a health perspective. So number one, you don't want something that's going to create inflammation. So you have all these other benefits from doing it, but instead of still creating inflammation, the first priority is to eat a food that is non-inflammatory for you. So when you look at bone broth, the reason why it's good is because it contains things like collagen that you need for skin, hair, nails, for your joints. Also contains glycine, which is really important for repairing the intestines and also providing some of the amino acids for liver detoxification, things that help for the liver to produce glutathione to help with detoxification. Also is going to contain glucosamine, really important for joints and for making up the cartilage in your body, particularly like your discs and also like your meniscus, for example. It's also going to have high levels of magnesium to help with proper muscle function. It's going to help with phosphorus, which is going to need it for bone formation. And then it's also going to have sulfur. Sulfur is really important for liver function and for detoxification. Some other high type sulfur foods are going to be pretty much any kind of vegetable that kind of smells gross, like broccoli, for example. So bone broth is going to have all of these different constituents in it, and which makes it actually something that is really good for you. Now, the thing is that when you look at the standard American diet today, one of the things that's really missing is going to be collagen. So collagen is absolutely missing in our nutrition today, but you need this collagen to have healthy skin, healthy nails, healthy bones, healthy joints. So collagen is 100% needed in order to have all of those different healthy things. So when you look at this, what are some of the benefits of bone broth? So again, healthy hair and nails to help with leaky gut syndrome, to help maintain or even increase your bone density. Really important for liver detoxification. And just remember, the liver has a lot of different detoxification pathways. It doesn't have one, it has 6. And so you actually need all of those detox pathways to be healthy within the liver. Now, a lot of times people ask me, how do I get a leaky gut? Leaky gut can be to a lot of things: chronically exposed to specific food allergies, antibiotic exposure, so taking a lot of antibiotics or eating a lot of antibiotic-laden meat. Stress can do it. So one of the biggest things is being chronically stressed, because anytime that you're chronically stressed, you do not have a blood supply going into the gastrointestinal system. That blood supply is helping you to escape the bear, which is why the blood gets shunted into your extremities to help you run faster, jump higher, or to be stronger. Prescription drugs can also do this. And then also specific pathogens or chronic infections that you've had all can lead to a separation of those gap junctions within the small intestine that now can allow some of those large proteins, not amino acids, start to leak into the bloodstream. So other things too, besides liver detoxification, bone density, leaky gut, the benefits of bone broth is that bone broth is going to be non-inflammatory, which is going to be your first priority when it comes to any kind of nutrition, is for them to be non-inflammatory. And then also it's going to help support the joints and help support the discs. So if you are exercising, you need something in order for those joints to stay strong, to repair, and for those joints not to actually break down. So many times when people start to get into the problem of overtraining and getting undernourished, and this is when injury and things like that start to happen. So these are just some of the benefits of bone broth. So guys, I hope you found this enjoyable. So again, to recap, is bone broth is going to be for an overwhelming majority of people is going to be the best for you, mainly because it's anti-inflammatory and mainly because it helps with joint repair and also with liver detoxification. And so this makes bone broth my go-to now as far as your protein kind of supplement that you should be supplementing either before or after your workouts, or if you are, using it to, become a more efficient fat burner to lose weight or things like that. So guys, this takes me into our next event that's coming up. It's our Exemplify 5K prep. So hopefully you guys have registered for this. This is when we take you through 5 weeks of training to get you ready to run your first 5K on June 1st at the Walter and Connie Payton Foundation Sweetness Run here in Yorkville. So whether you walk it, whether you crawl it, whether you run it, it doesn't matter. Just do your best. There's something to be said about finishing a 5K and the joy that happens from doing something epic. So we're going to help take you through that process, and it kicks off Saturday, April 27th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we are going to get you ready through that 5 weeks. So to register for that, you guys can go, I'll leave the link in the description, and you can register for that. We have an early bird discount that's going to be expiring soon, and it's only $99 when you register before the early bird discount. Now, for those people that are going to be within the 5K prep, we have something additional, even more special for you. We're going to do specifically in our 5K prep Facebook group, we're going to go over performance nutrition. So on Saturday, May 4th, I'll be doing a live webinar on what you should be doing for performance nutrition, and also what you can do in order to start coupling the training that you're doing with actually losing weight and teaching your body how to become an efficient fat burner. So that is just another bonus for being part of that 5K prep. And then we'll also have a bunch of free giveaways and stuff at that nutrition webinar. But you're going to have to join the 5K prep in order to get that. So guys, I'll leave the description or the link to register for that 5K prep and get registered for it. It is going to be a great time. So hey, if you have a question, leave a comment below. Make sure you share this with someone who might be consuming a lot of really bad protein that's just causing an increase in inflammation. I can promise you this. When you start avoiding and start eating a non-inflammatory diet, performance goes up, stress hormones go down, and you typically feel very quickly a whole heck of a lot better. So guys, we'll see you for our next live. Make sure you get registered for the 5K prep coming up. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you like, make sure you share. We'll see you soon.